How y'all doing? This is Dennis Jingles, Positive and Attitude, full of energy and new ideas. Today I have another podcast set up right now. Have interviewed my brother KP. He's gonna come in and tell us his story. But this is a podcast where we just want to reach around the world, telling everybody the story about fatherhood and about the good and the bad. So my man KP is gonna come in. He's gonna talk to us about about his life story, about where he's doing and how life was him coming up with a father in his life or without a father in his life. The KP is a father of four, so that's be interesting to find out. This young man's story with four young men that he's involved in his life. So my brother, how you doing, man? Tell me about your day.
Man, I'm doing all right, man. Today been a long day, but nevertheless, man, it's always been a blessing. I tell myself every day, man, once I get up, man, and rise up, man, it's it's time to get to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And
I'm
this
blessed, bro.
definitely, man. And just to give my listeners a little something, deeper to understand and think about, we bringing y'all something special location right now for Behind the Walls. All right, we ain't got to tell you where it's from or where it's at, but we bring you some stories behind the walls, dynamic dash from Behind the Walls. How's that for y'all today? You know what I'm saying? So, my man, just talk to me, brother. Tell me how coming up as a young person, man. Tell me your story, man.
Well, man, growing up for me, man, that was very interesting. Early on in my childhood, there was a lot of love, in the household. I grew up with, for the most part of my childhood, with 8 siblings. It was a total of 10 of us. So, growing up, man, we didn't have much. But one thing we did have was the love of each other. And my mama, she played a major role in my upbringing. And, I had a stepfather that was around early on in my childhood and installed a lot of principles in us, coming up or whatnot. And then, I happened to venture off into the streets. I'll say probably about 12 years old, you know what I'm saying, and had to figure some things out from there. And it wasn't, a pleasant thing, right? But the one thing that I loved about it, even at an early age, is that it taught me, self preservation, right? It taught me self-preservation. I had to appreciate the little things, that ones had or ones didn't have, right? And the value of life and living. And I was blessed to have a grandmother, that is everything to me, right? She did everything she could to sit up here and make sure me and my siblings, could do what we do, and make it, as far as we could. But I was also blessed to have a lot of women in my life to raise me. I'd have a few aunties, and I have another woman that was a mother figure to me, and to this day, she's still a mother figure to me, and I love her, just as one. So I used to hear a lot of people say, it takes a man to sit up here and raise a boy, right?
Yeah.
But personally, I disagree with that because, I had a couple aunties, and like I said, I had my grandmother, and I was blessed to have another lady that's always been a mother to me that basically molded me and helped raise me, right?
Right.
And I feel like I didn't turn out too bad. So, my childhood, man, was complex, for a lot of different reasons, but at the same time, it was also interesting. There was a lot of love from a lot of different situations. Fortunately, my mom's just passed away not too long ago, and I would tell a story about how me and my mother's bond came from the game more than anything. And what I meant by that is, my mother, she was very street savvy, right? So with her being very street savvy, there's a lot of tools that she installed in me that came from the game that helped me become the man I am today. And a lot of people think a mother and a son relationship be more ideal when it comes to like a loving relationship inside the home or things of that nature, or somebody being a mama's boy. But ours was totally different though. We had a complex relationship a lot of times, but the love and the respect that I have for her was always there because I understood that it takes a strong woman to try to sit up here and raise a lot of kids, you know what I'm saying? Also, with the world that we lived in at the time, that, there's a lot of different challenges that came with being a mother, right? So, I don't have no regrets about childhood, man. I take all the situations that I experienced into stride and continue to, learn from them as I continue to evolve into my own self and use some of the principles that I was taught to install into my children, right? And I tell my boys all the time, there's three things that that I stand on, and that's respect, accountability, and responsibility. And the reason being because I figured out with those three things, if you sit up here and you stand on them, it'll get you a long way in life. And I always tell them to respect the elders, right? To always sit up here and take responsibility for the things they're responsible for, which is number one, their actions and lack thereof. And also accountability. They'll never point the finger at nobody for why you is or aren't in a situation like you should or shouldn't be in. Always hold yourself accountable for your life. So I try to stand on those things throughout my own life, man. And I'm just blessed, bro.
Yeah,
I'm
no
blessed. I can
doubt.
sit up here and complain to you about a whole bunch of different shit, but I'm blessed, my man.
No doubt. So let me ask you, man, what city did you grow up in? What part of the world did you grow up in, bro?
Well, man, I grew up, man, at a net, man. Indianapolis, Indiana. I mean, I grew up, at a Howville, man. Sit up here, man, and they was the trenches. You know what I'm saying? You had to be somewhat of a strong motherfucker to sit up here, man, and make it through those trenches. So, that was a walk of life, man. I grew up in Howville. I had some other detours around the city, but I was born and raised, man, in them projects.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And so, growing up in those projects, man, did you have any other? I know you said you have a strong support with a lot of aunts and everything. I grew up with a lot of aunts too, so I can relate to that. I learned a lot from each one of my aunts, bro. From each one of my aunts had different personalities. I learned a lot from each one of them, but it also helped me as
Right,
when I dealt with other females. I learned I would see certain traits in them that my aunts had, so it would help me to understand them a
right.
little better. So tell me a little bit about growing up in a rough neighborhood, not having a mentor in a father in your life, man. How did you navigate? Did you have somebody that you navigated to ask questions other than your inside of your household, other men, or did you just look at them and say, hey, I want to be like them?
Well, the thing is, the time when I was coming up, man, there was a lot of respect from the youngsters when it came to the old heads of the neighborhood, right? And they seen me fucking up or doing something I had no business doing. They was allowed to kick my ass, right? So I never sit up here and got steered the wrong information from the older males that I sit up here and that I looked up to as OGs, whatever the case may be, right? You know what I'm saying? But there was some people that was a few years older than me that I seen doing certain things that I wanted to sit up here and do because we all came from broken dynamics. You know what
Right,
I'm saying? Single parent homes and things of that nature. So we all trying to sit up here and find a way to figure it out and do things to support our own families. And that was kind of how I sit up here and mimic myself as I was sit up here navigating through the trenches. I see, me so and so doing this. So I sit up here thinking this is what I need to do to take care of my own people. Because, granny got a bill need to be paid. You know what I mean? Or we got food that we need to sit up here and have on their table. Because my brothers and sisters, they hungry. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
So I sit up here and seeing other people doing what they doing to take care of their families. And, I piggyback off of that because I feel like that was the thing to do.
Yeah, yeah. So now that you have, man, we're gonna bounce back in time a little bit, man, because as you say that, man, I want to understand how do you influence your young men that are come up right now who got to navigate some trenches that you had to go through. How do you give advice to them, man?
Well, what I do is one of the most important things that I do is I tell my boys I love them every time I talk to them, right? I tell my love because that love, that reassurance, that confidence, that you get from a man, especially your father, is very important, right? Uh, I've been blessed to know most of my vet to sit up here and to have a relationship with three of my four kids. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, one of them, I haven't sit up here and been involved in his life, for the most part that I've been gone. But I've been blessed to sit up here being a part of the other three. And with my oldest, which is 15, I sit up here and I always tell him how he has to lead by example, right? And as he always has to sit up here and show his younger siblings certain things to where they know how to navigate within this space that we call life, right? And I share my personal experiences from behind the wall and things that I was going through when I was their age and how it affected me. So they don't sit up here and make similar decisions that may be detrimental for them. I also sit up here and I ask them about what is the things that they would like to do. Where do they see themselves at? You know what I'm saying? Also, what do they think about my current situation? You know, me and my youngest son, he's the son that I sit up here figure that's the most rebellious. But the one thing I love about him is he's very upfront about, you know, how he feels when he does choose to speak his mind. And he always asks a lot of hard questions. So I always give it to him raw and uncut. I feel like sugarcoating things for my kids. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting up here and I'm taking things from them because I'm not being my authentic self, right? So I just sit up here, man, and share with them my life experiences, what I'm currently going through. And I sit up here and I take a step back and I look at the things that they're going through in their own lives. And I figure if I put all that shit together, man, and listen to them and also sit for giving the right advice, man, that, you know, that's the best way I can sit up here and go with trying to raise them from behind this wall.
Yeah, no doubt, man. But I want to say that I want everybody to understand this because there's a lot of brothers that's on the street, you know what I'm saying? And Dynamic Dad is never to knock anybody down. My aim is to elevate, to empower, and to encourage brothers to be involved in their kids' life. But we got a lot of brothers that's on the street and ain't doing half the things you're doing, my brother. So I want to, you know, tell you, you're a dynamic father right there. You're a dynamic dad, brother. And that's why I'm asking you to be a part of this program because you are doing things that a lot of people on the streets make excuses not to do. You know what I'm saying? So I want everybody to understand this brother's not coming to me from live on the street, live down the block, live around the neighborhood. This brother's coming from me behind the walls. So I want you to understand how deep this is right here. You know what I'm saying? So this brother give me strong advice to another father, to another brother, to another father about how he is involved in his son's life. You got 4 kids. You say you're not involved with one of them, but you got 3 others. So what is the age group of 15 and what the other that you're involved with?
I got a 15-year-old and I got 3 13-year-olds.
So do you have a relationship with the mothers of any of these young men?
You know, I got 3 baby mamas, 2 of them, you know, I got decent relationships with. So, you know, we co-parent the best way we can and we make this thing work.
Right. The word you said, man, is that you co-parenting, that you're making an effort. Both of you guys make an effort. And that's what my program is about, helping those co-parents, whether it's inside or outside. That's very important that both people are involved in that child's life because you need a father and you need a mother. And if they're both willing partners in this thing, it makes the transition even better. So, you know, once again, man, I want to commend you for being a dynamic dad.
I know that about. I appreciate it, man. I remember, man, when I first came to prison, man, you know, my oldest boys, you know, their mom, she stood up here and she told me, she said, one thing you gonna do is you gonna be a father to these kids. I don't give a fuck what you gotta do, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, she was adamant, man, about, you know, I don't give a damn what's going on, man. You go sit up here and, you know, you go raise these boys, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, man, 2 of them I've been blessed to sit up here, man, and have, you know what I mean, a co-parent relationship with, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to my kids. But I also want to put this out there, man, to anybody, man, that is locked up or just on the streets that have kids, you know what I'm saying? Us as men, one's got to stop making excuses for why they ain't sitting up here, man, doing the best they can to be involved in their kids' lives. And true enough, trust me, man, I understand, man, that some things is out of our hands, right? And a lot of people like to run to the system to sit up here, man, you know, to try to be a mediator when it comes to their kids and so on and so forth. And I didn't even have people tell me, you know, that I need to sit up here and, you know, and file something in court to sit up here to try to get some kind of, you know what I mean, guardianship of my son or whatever the case may be while I'm in prison, right? And I sit up here, man, you know, I've always shied away from that because, one, I don't believe in putting the system in my business. You know what I'm saying? It's better enough they in it already, right? And I also sit up here and I say to myself, you know, when nobody thinking about the system when we would sit up here out here doing what we was doing. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So be man enough to sit up here, man, and you know, keep the system out your business. Just try to figure the thing out, right? Because true enough, when y'all sit up here, we do things, man, and we might not sit up here and be proud of, but we wish you could have done differently when it comes to sit up here and bring life into this world. But nevertheless, as men, we sit up here, we are responsible for the direction that our kids sit up here and go, regardless of what the fuck the mother does. You see what I'm saying? And that's something I always try to sit up here and tell people in that conversation about kids, right, is that as a man, you are responsible for the direction of your child. And even if you sit up here, you feel like your hands is tied, any effort beats no effort. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? I
Right.
sit up here, my kids will tell me, you know what I mean, at times how much they appreciate me, and their moms will sit up here and tell me at times, how much of a good father I am, and so on and so forth. But to be honest with you, I don't even believe I'm a good father. And I'm gonna tell you why I say that.
I
I
was
say
going
that
to ask you
because
anyway, so you go also tell me because
I
I'm gonna dig into you about that no matter what.
yeah, I'm gonna tell you why I say that though, right? Because it's so much more to my responsibility that needs to be done that I haven't done, right? And I feel like telling me I'm a good father is that my job is done or I did enough. And I ain't did halfway near enough, right? I'm very hard on myself because once again that goes back to the responsibility aspect I was telling you about and the accountability aspect I was telling you about that I stand on, right? When it comes to sit up here being a father to my kids. You know what I'm saying? True enough, I do the best I can with what I can with what I got. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to dealing with my kids. But nevertheless, I'm not satisfied with how I sit up here and do things because there's so much more that I am needed for. And that's why I say I'm not a good father because I'm not settling for what currently is.
No doubt, and I respect you for that. I respect you for that because, like I said, you know, with the best you got, you know the best you can. You know what I'm saying? But you still, the
No
efforts
doubt.
is to do more, and that's what's great about it, man. But still, other people don't understand, and that they hear this, just they hear your message, man, and they gonna say, how is it possible for this man to do what he's doing behind the walls? They're not gonna believe that.
Well, the
They
answer
can't
is this,
understand
man.
that because a lot of men, they when they get behind the walls, they cut everybody off.
Well, no, I wouldn't necessarily say that, right? I believe, man, people got a preconceived, perception of what life is behind the wall, right? Because all prisons is different, every situation is different, every man is different. They
Right.
all deal with things differently, right? And what I will tell you this, you know what I'm saying? The most strangest thing when it comes to doing time, man, it's a mental and emotional hurdle. You know what I'm saying? The
Exactly.
physical aspect really ain't hard. It's a mental and emotional hurdle. You know what I'm saying? And some men are broken because of their own karma coming back to bite them in the ass, right? So they
Right.
ain't strong enough to sit up here and to endure, whatever life is in up here thrown at them, right? And some men will sit up here just selfish. So they will sit up here and do things that'll continue to create a fucked up relationship with whoever it is that's outside on the wall, right? But everybody wants to help. Some people just go about it differently. You see what I'm saying? I just been blessed to sit up here and to have enough strength to fight through whatever it is that I'm faced with, right? To sit up here, man, and to take a hold of my responsibility. I'll be telling you a damn lie if I told you it's been easy for this happen. You know what I'm saying? I deal with a lot of shit. I just don't sit up here and speak on it because I'm
Right.
not the type to sit up here and complain. I like to sit up here where I call get to the business. You know what I'm saying? Sitting around complaining about shit don't make me feel good. But handling it head on is what makes me feel good. You know what I'm saying? So I like to sit up here, man, and get to it, man, and not sit back and complain about it, right? And like I say, life behind these walls ain't easy, bro.
Oh,
I
no
know a lot of
doubt, no
dudes,
doubt.
man, that I know a lot of dudes, man, that man, that committed suicide because they can't be with their kids because their baby mamas ain't answered the phone, or she
Yeah,
wouldn't sit up here and bring them up to the seat, or they playing games for them. You know what I'm saying? Men just weren't strong enough to endure this shit. You know what I mean? So I just been blessed, man. That's all I can say. I just been blessed.
yeah, exactly. We got my sister program is called Magnificent Moms with my one partner Josephine, and we talk about that the gatekeepers, and that's what the women
Okay.
allowing being bitter because of that relationship, that bond or breakup that you and her had or that man has had, and now they're using that child as a tool or a weapon to against that man. And so we try to talk about that, how that woman changed that mindset of that young lady, or that woman, to let that child have a relationship with his father and vice versa so that they can continue to bond because we understand that's important.
Well,
You know what I'm saying? For
well, you
both of
know what
them.
I would say this too, man, and you're right, right. But I will contest this, because I'm very big about sharing my own personal experience about things, right? Um, as a woman, I feel like that's one of the worst things a woman could ever do is use a child against the father because she married him for whatever reason, right? I feel like that's the worst thing a woman could do. But as a man, though, and I speak from experience, what we fuck up at is we play too many bullshit ass games, and then we get mad when a woman sits up here, now she throws her punch, right?
Exactly.
And the
Yeah.
punch that she throws is the child. See, the child is the punch she throws.
Right.
So now we mad, right? Now we mad because we feel like she ain't playing fair. But when she was playing fair by doing what she's supposed to do, if we was in a relationship with her, she wasn't running around fucking around on us. And she was been honest and loyal with us, where the fucking case may be, right? But that wasn't enough for us. That's for us, though. You feel me? We got to have more. We got to be more selfless. It's all about us. We make them think it's about them, but it's about us. Now when the tides turn, because now she ready to swing now, because she felt like she didn't have a fight at first. See, a lot of women get their get back when brothers go to prison. That's their time to get their get back on your ass. And that way of getting their get back, I ain't let you talk to your child. I ain't letting you see your child. You know what I'm saying? Because you did this to me. You did that to me. You see what I'm saying? I go through that to this day. I don't get to sit up here and have a relationship with my youngest child. I mean, not with my youngest child, but with one of my childs. You know what I'm saying? Because his mama is still mad at me for some shit that I did when we was teenagers.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. Bro,
so this was her time. This was her time to get back.
Right.
And it goes, and my point that I'm making is, it goes from us as men not being totally responsible and holding ourselves accountable for the actions that we choose to make that affect these women's emotions, man.
Yo, definitely, man. I could flip that on the other side, man. My mom, as far as going, you know, when I was born, my father didn't want to take any responsibility for me. You know what I'm saying? So he was in and out of jail, and my mom would do the opposite. She would send me up there to his grandfather, to his mother and father, told me to go visit them, be around his family. You know, at one time she was taking me to the prison to see him, but then it was like, you know, he wasn't making no effort. He kept going in and out, in and out, in and out. So I'm like, yo, I don't want to keep going through that. I don't want to go back to the jailhouse and see what you do. You know what I'm saying? I made that decision. And then after that, she moved to Cali. So there was really no connection at all. But he wasn't making the effort. And like you said, that's being selfish. You know what I'm saying? So he wasn't making effort. So all these years, she kept telling me, go see your dad, go see your grandmother, your grandfather, keep being around them. I was going up there and making this effort to be around them, but nobody was making an effort to be around me. So here I am growing up without a father, not at my football games. He ain't at no sports games. He ain't nothing in school. He not buying me nothing for my birthday. He ain't send me no car. He not making an effort to be in my life. But I kept doing the same thing to be the effort in his life. You know what I'm saying? So that carried a lot of bitterness in my heart, anger, you know, abandonment, and all these other things in my heart, because I'm like, why am I doing this and he's not doing nothing?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And he knocked up most of his life, or he on drugs. So that kind of messed me up in the head. I walked through like 45 years of depression, bro.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hate to hear that, man.
It's just recently, after life experiences happening, that I finally said, I had enough. I done tried so many times to commit suicide, bro. So when you talk about those brothers behind the walls committing suicide, I can relate to that to a certain degree, because I understand depression is something you don't want to play with. A traumatic experience, people don't want to talk about that. And a lot of men hold in their feelings.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm so grateful, man, that you coming out today talking from behind the walls and you telling us a story, man. And hopefully we can get a lot of other men to be able to release what's going on in their minds, bro. Because the battle, like you said earlier, starts in their mind. And if we don't have no way to release it, then we're gonna be messed up, bro. But that traumatic experience is real. That trauma is real in our life.
And I definitely agree, man. I'm gonna tell you something, man. I'm very passionate, you know, about fatherhood. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of, you know, it comes from my own experiences or lack thereof with my own father, right? Because, you know, growing up, my father wasn't around. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never had a relationship with my father. You know what I mean? And I never really gave a damn, to be honest with you. And some people sit up here, and it's kind of hard for them to believe that, right? But I haven't, though. Like, I've dealt with emotions. I've always been numb to them to a degree. But when I was younger, my mama used to always tell me how much I look like this dude, right? I used to be like, damn. You know, so it intrigues me to who the hell is this person? Because she tell me how much I look like. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And as I got older, you know what I'm saying? And I sit up here and get to develop a relationship with one of my sisters, you know what I mean, that he has. You know, she would tell me the same thing. You look so much like dad, or, you know what I mean, like my daddy, da-da-da-da, right? So I stood up and like, oh, yeah, whatever. So I see a picture of him, right? And I said, damn. I look just like Buddy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
I
said,
had
damn,
the
I look
same
just
thing. I
like
had the
Buddy,
same
right?
thing.
Yeah. So I'm like, damn, I look just like. So I see what my mom was talking about my whole childhood. You know what I mean? About this brother and shit, right? So I sit up here and I was intrigued, but a lot of times in my childhood, I was real angry, right? When it came to certain things about him because she would always refer to some things, you know what I'm saying, as using him when I would get in trouble, this, and the third,
Right.
because of how he made her feel, right? And I didn't really understand it as a kid until I got older, right? And my oldest brother, his father has always been a father figure to me, right? And me and his father's real close, you know what I'm saying? So I call his father Pops, you know what I mean? Because, that's who I sit up here, closest thing to a male that I sit up here feel like really gave me the kind of game that I really needed when it comes to sitting up here, man, being a man from a father, right? So nevertheless, you know, he tells me one day, he said, man, you need to sit up here, man, and sit up here and have a conversation, you know, with your father, right? And I'm like, for what? So he goes to tell me about my son I don't sit up here, man, and have a relationship with. And he said, man, one day you're going to have to sit up here and explain to your son, why you been absent, right? He said that he go on and he said your son, he said you can want to explain to your son certain things. He said you want your son to have enough respect for you to hear you out. He said regardless of right or wrong, because it's two sides to every story. He said, of
Right.
course his mama was telling him something, you know what I mean? He said whether right or wrong, but he go still want to hear your side of the story. And he said at least give your father the opportunity to tell his side of the story, no matter how good or bad it was, right? So I hollered at Buddy one day and we chopped it up. I'm asking him about some shit that I was told back in the day. And I'm like, damn, man, I was told this, that, and the third, you know what I'm saying? My mom's and shit, you know what I mean? Was there some truth to this shit? And he's like, yeah. All the fucked up shit she told you that I did, I did that. I said, damn, just like that, huh? He's like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? And he was raw and uncut about it, right? And as fucked up as it is, I respected that nigga for that, though. You know why? Because that's how I am, though. Raw and uncut, straight to the point, man. We ain't gonna sit up here and hold no punches about shit, right? So up until that point, I always had ill feelings about it, based on a lot of shit I done heard about him, right? And I know how it affected my mom, you know what I'm saying, for so many years, right? And the fact, and the moment he told me that shit, man, I wasn't even mad at the nigga no more. And I told him that. And then I turned around and stood up here and told him I ain't never got no rap for him, dog. I can't fuck with you.
Right.
And I stand on that.
Right.
And I ain't even mad at him. Because at the end of the day, it took that man to sit up here, man, and create me. So I can't be too mad at it, because I think the nigga did a hell of a creation.
Oh man, he did a great job, my brother. But I can relate to that, man. Like I said, I grew up without a father, but I try to keep communication with my father, man. And ironically,
No
like you
doubt.
tell him right now, man, I can relate to that because after I stopped, really going in and out my life, my father's life, man, I tried many a times, bro. I was watching a movie one day, bro, and that's like you said, your mom, your man was, your stepdad was telling you to go back and talk to this guy, your father. I was watching the movie, bro. I forget what the name of the movie was,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm sitting there watching this movie, man, and it hit me hard in my heart. And I went back looking for my dad. Hopped in the car, I raced
Right.
down to the little town that he was at, and I forgot that everybody in the neighborhood didn't really know who my dad was, but he was sell drugs on the street with him. You know what I'm saying? So they knew him
Right.
as Stoney. And so I go down into my man, see him on the corner. I said, yo, you know who my dad is? And nigga listen, man, I know who the hell
Yeah.
your dad is. Who the fuck your dad is, bro? I said, what's wrong with you, man?
Yeah.
I know who your dad is. I said, oh man, I forgot, man. I said, yo, you know who Stoney is? He said, oh shit, he right around the damn corner, nigga. So, you know what I'm saying? So I went
Right.
around there and pulled him up, man, and we talked a little bit. Then I invited him over my house, brought him back in. So I kept trying, man. That's why I say I went through 45 years of depression, because I kept trying. But he was like, whatever, you know what I'm saying? And so
Right.
fast track this all the way up, man. This will show you how good the most powerful God is, man. I started again. I got back in his life again, man. And started having relationship because I'm doing this mentor with these young men. And once again, the spirit
Right.
hit me, like, yo, how you gonna keep on mentoring these young men about the connection they got with their father or don't have, and you ain't got no connection with your dad? You done cut him off
Right.
again. So I'm like, oh man, come on. So I calls him up, say, yo, what's up? And when I would call him, it was like we just talked yesterday. To him, everything was like, yo,
Right.
why you want to talk about the past, man? Leave the past alone, bro. Let's deal with it right now. So when I called, he's like, yo, what's up? I'm
Right.
like, yo, what's going on, Dad? He's like, yeah, you all right? Like we just talked 2 hours ago. You know what I'm saying? So we
Yeah.
chopped it up for a little bit, and I kept calling him and calling him and calling him. And one day, like a Friday, I said, yo, I'm gonna call you back. I said, yo, I'm gonna call you on Friday. I called him, he didn't answer his phone. So now the whole weekend I'm wondering what's going on with this dude. He ain't answering the phone. Now I come find out on Monday he had an aneurysm and fell out on the floor on the ground out in the street. They rushed him to the hospital,
Right.
emergency operation to cut his brain, cut his piece of his brain out so his skull could breathe. So now here you go, man. He got an aneurysm in his head. They gonna tell him, he got 5 years to live. He got cancer on the brain.
Mm.
So now, like I said, me and him have no real close relationship, but I kept on keeping that relationship alive. So now the doctor said he can't live by himself. Now I'm living in North Carolina. He in Jersey. So now I come back. I
Right.
gotta take him when he get out of the hospital. I gotta take everything he got, what he gonna bring or whatever, and now move him down to North Carolina so that he can go through therapy, radiation therapy. Bro, that was the worst. I'm gonna say not even say the worst, man, because like I said, I went through depression. So during that time he was with me, man, we turned that house upside down. That transition was hard on us, bro, because I never lived in my
Right.
house and with my father longer than a week or two. So now I'm at
Mm.
40 something years old in my life, man. And here he is, my father living with me. He going through terminal cancer. He don't know my kids. He don't know my wife. It turned my house upside down, bro. But when we started
Mm.
praying together and we did his bond, and ultimately he decided he wanted to go back to Jersey and do his thing, get back on drugs, self-medicate, and he ended up dying like a year or two later. But I made sure, I did what I had to do. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of
Right.
what he didn't want to do and how our relationship developed. I made that choice, through the spirit of God saying I had to go back and do it. But it was those things that helped me start getting out of my depression. I didn't get out of it right then and there, but that relationship that I continued to create with him was what I needed. I needed that clarity. Like you just said, you go back asking your father, that was getting the clarity for you. For nobody else, you needed that clarity.
No doubt. No doubt. And it's ironic that you say that, right? Because I didn't realize, man, how much I needed that clarity, man, until I actually sit up and had that moment, right? Because I had so much anger, you know what I'm saying? I had so much anger, in my heart for so many years, right? And it wasn't because he wasn't there. That ain't where my anger came from. My anger came from my mom sitting up here and people in my family telling me over the years, for so many years, man, you look just like your father, this, that, and third, whatever, whatever. And my mama tell me that I act like him. And I said, well, damn, if I act like him, I said, this nigga got to be a player, man, because I'm a motherfucking player. You know what I'm saying? I said, man, buddy got to be a player, man, because ain't no way in hell he can sit up here, man, and be a buster and I act like him. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right,
But I realized it was just certain things about my characteristics, man, that reminded them so much. That reminded them so much of him when they seen me, right? And that moment when we did sit up here and speak, the one thing that kind of threw me off, right? I said, damn, he never apologized about the things that he did, right? He never stood up here and apologized about not being around for so many years neither, though. Kind of found out he did a little bit back in the day too, right? So when I realized he did a little bit back in the day, that right there is what really made me sit up here and appreciate the fact that I called it, because it made me think about my son.
yeah,
And I said to myself, he's been gone for some time throughout my childhood, because he did a bit, I wasn't aware of it. The same way I've been gone from my kids' life because I've been doing a bit, right?
right,
So I don't want my kids to hold that against me. So I damn sure ain't gonna hold this against Buddy. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, I realized how the conversation that we had, how there was no kind of remorse for any of the bullshit that went on or didn't go on throughout my whole childhood, right? And us never having a relationship, right? And I said, man, I don't never want to be that type of nigga. And even though I wasn't, I vowed to not ever sit up here and become that nigga. So after I sit up and had that conversation with him, I sit up here and I called my oldest son. And at the time he was, probably about, I want to say probably about 10, about 9, 10 years old, but he was still kind of gang savvy at the time. And I was chopping up with him. I was telling him certain things, you know what I'm saying? And it made me sit up with, man, really appreciate the responsibilities that I've been blessed with, right? Because it took for me to have kids to really understand a lot of shit my mama used to tell me that I didn't understand growing up, that my granny used to tell me, and some of the other women, man, that raised me used to tell me. Because I got a shitload of aunties, man. And I say it all the time, man, when people ask, who raised you, man, how you become how you is, because a lot of people feel like I'm so humble, and I'm just blessed, you know what I'm saying? Because I know there's people that got less, that's less fortunate than me. But I got aunties, man. I got an auntie named Tanya that sit up here, man, that she gave me the game, hands on. I got an Aunt Felicia that would sit up here around, you know what I'm saying, and I could go over her house and do certain things when I was younger, you know what I mean? When my mom was sitting up here, and she wasn't around, you know what I'm saying? I got another lady that I call mama to this day, and it's crazy because my mama, she told me that there's only one woman I was ever allowed to call mama to. That wasn't her, and her name is Angie. So that's the only woman that you ever allowed to call mama besides me. But that's how much respect and love my mama had for that woman, because she knew how much that woman cared for me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And when I tell you, man, this woman, man, sit up here, bruh. Hey, man, I'll just put it to you like this, man. I asked some shit that woman sit up here been through with me, man, that we can never speak on. But if it wasn't for her, man, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. You feel me?
No doubt, no doubt.
I won't be where I'm at today. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, man, those women, man, along with my grandmother, man, they played a major part, man, in saving my life, bro.
Yeah,
You
no
know what I'm
doubt.
saying? And I always like to shout out those women because they mean the world to me.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I can relate to, like I said, I grew up with aunts as well, man. So as you shouted out your aunts, man, I want to shout out mine, man. I just had an uncle that just passed away. My Larry Jenkins, he just passed away on last Saturday, 2 Saturdays ago. So we got to go to his funeral,
I'm
coming up
sorry.
in days. So my condolences to you as well as we go through this, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry
We
to hear
support
that,
each
bro.
other. Yeah, we support each other as we go through this transition. But I give homage and praise to my aunts, man. My Aunt Diane, my Aunt Kathy, my Aunt Rose, my Aunt Joanne, my Aunt Shirley. And I can't forget the one, the top dog, the top that kept me on top of my game was my Aunt Ebby. They all was holding me down, man. So I give praise to
Yeah,
those women, man, because without them women, all the things that I went through in my life, man, they all had a pivotal part in my life, man. You know what I'm saying? I live with all of them, man. And if it
no
wasn't for
doubt.
them, taking the place of my mom when my mom lived on the West Coast and everything, bro, I'd have been lost. I'd have been lost, man. But every time
Right.
I felt down on my face, man, I had one of those women look back and say, "Look how strong they are. They raising their kids and me. They taking care of
Mm-hmm.
me and looking out for me. Like you said, I
Mm-hmm.
had other mothers that's on the street, man, that looked out for me as well and seen, hey, you need this guidance. And so one of them was Miss Washington, you know what I'm saying? And she was there for me along with her family, man. And I can't forget my mother, man, Selma Dempsey, man. They took me in like I was one of their kids, bro. And so I understand that, man. That motherly love, man, we need that as well as we need that father support, man. But I give respect to all those aunts out there, all those, my mothers that carried me through those times and days, man. So, brother, as we get ready to lead into this,
No
man,
doubt, man. Shout out to the Queens, man.
shout out to the Queens, bro, because they've been holding us down since we got over here on this plantation, man. Since we touched this soil, man, they've been holding us down.
No
So we got to
doubt.
keep those Queens, keep the Queens held high, man, because we got to show them that love. But let me ask you this, man,
No doubt.
as we get ready to close out, man, as you continue to go through your life right now, man, I know you say you live with no regrets, man, but how do you look at yourself and say, what more can I do to help these other young brothers that are coming in and got to go through what trying to transition that and that mindset? They didn't have no father figure, and now they where you at, man. How do you help those young brothers navigate through? Because some of them got kids too, and they got to figure out how they gonna do that. How do you help them understand this?
Well, I'll tell you this, right? Every day I wake up, man, I say a prayer, right? And part of my prayer is to sit up here, man, for the prayer to give me the strength to tackle whatever responsibility that He lays in my lap that day. And one thing I've sit up and realized early on, that one of my callings was to sit up here and be the giver of inspiration and motivation. So I make it a point to always, man, to talk life, love, and inspiration into every individual that I cross, right? especially, man, young men. You know, it's a lot of young brothers in here, man, that that are broken. I've always tried to talk life into them, give them some sound game, man, give them some sound advice about, the direction that they going, the direction that I personally think they should be going, and just be positive, man, because anything short of that, is detrimental. So I just up here, man, I just speak peace and love and, man, just positive energy into people. You know what I'm saying? Anybody that I sit up here come across, all I'm doing is just talking love into them, man. Speaking nothing but positive energy into them. Our lives ain't over. You know what I'm saying? Our lives ain't over. There's still work for us to do. And there's brothers in here, man, that sit up here and that I've seen, do amazing things with their kids from behind these walls, right? And it ain't just men in here. There's men outside of here, that I sit up here and I talk to, for different reasons. You know what I'm saying? And I sit up here and tell them every time to come to their kids, man, love your kids. You know what I'm saying? I'm always asking about people's kids because the youth is the future. You know what I'm saying? The youth is the future. And I want to sit up here and say this to anybody that listens, man. Be a part of your kids' lives, right? Be a part of your kids' lives, because the time and attention you choose not to give that child, the motherfucking system will. If you choose not to give time and attention to your child, the system will love to give that child all the time and attention they feel like that child needs. So think about that. When you sit up here want to make an excuse for why you don't want to do this, why you want to do that as a parent. You know what I'm saying? Because none of these kids ask for this shit. Every day I wish I was sitting up here and I was out with my kids, man, to be a father to them. You know what I'm saying? A more responsible father to them. Not only to my kids, but to other, young relatives that I have and other people that I sit up here and know. It ain't these people, these kids' faults, man, that they sit up here, man, and they lacking love, and they lacking attention. It's us as adults to give it to them. And we have to quit sitting up here, looking for the system to help our child to get their shit together. When evidently, if our child ain't got their shit together, it's because us as parents, we lacking somewhere because we ain't fully got our shit together, right? Quit looking for other people to raise your child. Take your time and sit up here and invest time into your child. You know what I'm saying? And true enough, it takes a village to raise a child, but it starts with the person that's entitled to that child, which is the one that gave them life. You know what I mean? So, like I said, bro, I can do, man, to sit up here, man, and speak love and positive energy to people, and whatever I can do with my hands to sit up here, man, and create a better situation for an individual, man, and their child, bro. That's just what I do, because that's what I love to do. That's what I'm passionate about. And I don't give a damn about nothing they got to do with me. I'm going to be all right. All my love and energy, man, is to see other people happy, bro.
That's what's up.
I'm blessed, man.
That's what's up, man. That's what it's about, man. That's what it's about. And so as we talked about that, you lead into that, man. It needs me to continue thought. I want to say one thing. I forgot one aunt. I said I got many of them. So my aunt Rose, I didn't want to think that I cut her out of the group. So my aunt Rose. But to get back into the whole thing, man, like I said, I let you go, man. But the very important part you said, man, is about we got to be involved. Because we want to stop this school to prison pipeline, brother. This is the system that they got set up for us, man. This is a money machine right here. Yeah. And so we got to stop this money machine. We understand that, the world's we're going to have ups and downs in this world, but we can't let our kids get caught up in this money system. You know what I'm saying? Being put in a situation that they give them time for little petty stuff, man. 10 to 15 years or something they should just get them off of probation for. But we understand how the system is designed, so we got to continue to be involved with our kids' life, man. So I praise you, man.
We want to say one thing, bro.
Go on, my man.
I do want to say one thing before we close this out, right? Everybody that sit up here, man, they feel they got to get their time and energy to the game, to the street life, right? The game, man, is I look at it like a game of chess, right? We go through it, we navigate through it, trying to compete, trying to have certain rankings or whatever the case may be for whatever reason. But like the street life, similar to chess, there's a king and there's a pawn, and there's many pawns. You always get the big dog or the big dogs. You got a whole bunch of scavengers, right? But the one thing that the king and the pawn got in common when it comes to the game of chess, no matter the fact they got two different positions, They got two different ranks on the board. The
What's
one
up, bro?
thing both of them got in common is at the end of the game, they both go in a box.
Right.
So the king ain't no more motherfucking important than the pawn.
Right.
And I say that to say that everybody that sit up here, man, out there in them streets and thinking that running them streets, man, and lacking your responsibilities because you want to sit up here and get a certain status quo, or you want to do a particular thing that could keep you away from your child, just think twice about it. Because that's the main reason why a lot of kids are fatherless now. We have to be stronger than the situation itself. We got to elevate our minds to sit up here and then think beyond the ghetto, think beyond the street life, think beyond the prison system. Because until we do, we continue to have kids that's fatherless, that's taking that same pain and inflicted it on somebody else. Now they asses is in prison, or better yet, dead.
Yeah,
You
no
know
doubt,
what
no
I'm saying?
doubt.
And then there's more mothers crying, and there's more women bitter. So us as men, man, we got to do better, man. I just wish, man, that anybody that's hearing this, man, I hope y'all can take something positive from it. And y'all can, you know what I mean, incorporate it to whatever it is y'all doing, man, and just love these kids, man. Give these kids a chance by giving yourself a chance, man.
Yeah, we got to do better, man. But even as we talk to the fathers, man, the system is taking down our sisters as well, man, because more women are getting incarcerated than men right now. You know what I'm saying? So we all got to be on top of our game, and our kids are being left alone. And so we really got to tighten up the and really get focused, man, out here, because the system is trying to eat us all alive, bro. But once again, man, I want to thank you for coming on. We got a lot of great things to do together. So this is just a start. It's not the end. You know what I'm saying? Even though the show is about to end right now, this is a start of a lot of great things that we're going to do from behind the walls and just raw and uncut. You know what I'm saying? Rough, rugged, and raw. That's how we're going to get down with this, bro.
I know that about it, man. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support, man. Man, you keep doing your thing, man. You're a good brother. I admire the things that you're doing, man. I just encourage you to keep on doing it, man.
Hey, brother, each and every day, man, positive and attitude, full of energy and new ideas. That's how we get down. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to keep on making this thing move, man. And we're going to keep on involving a lot of other brothers and let them tell their story, man, because without that communication, brother, nothing will move. So we got to communicate with each other. We got to break it down, let people understand what we're going through. But once again, brother, I thank you for being on, man. And stay in touch, man. Let's make some big things happen, man. And we'll make some different connections outside of this, man, and keep talking about what the next move we're gonna do. All right.
I know that about it, man. Take care of yourself, man. All praises to you.
All right, man. Same to you, man. Talk to you later, man. Peace out.
Yep.
How y'all doing? This is Dennis Jenkins, positive and attitude, full of energy and new ideas. And listen, we had my man come on from behind the walls. We ain't really go into too much of his name. That's not really important right now. But he came in and told y'all his story from behind the walls. Now in the future, we're gonna have a couple other brothers come in and do the same thing because we think it's very important that you understand what's going on. You know, these brothers really do want to be involved in their kids' life, despite of what you might have heard. We want to straighten that. We want to take away that myth that these brothers do care and they want to be involved in their kids' life, no matter what the situation is, no matter how much time they got. So we're gonna bring you more episodes from behind the walls, all right, raw and uncut. But then once again, this is Dynamic Dad, and I thank you for listening and watching my podcast. And check me out. My website www.dynamicdad.org. And if you want to do any sponsoring, you want to have us on, come on and do some sponsorships, talk about your program, talk about your business. Hey, hit me up. Let's talk about that. If you want to get any donations, check out my page, subscribe, register, hit the donation button. But once again, I just want to thank you for giving your support from around the world. Whoever you are listening to this podcast, I appreciate you. Without you, there is no me. Without you, there is no us. Let's all form together and change the things around us, all right? Positive attitude, full of energy and new ideas. That's Dynamic Dash. When you see that symbol, I want you to repeat that. Positive attitude, full of energy and new ideas. Thank you for listening. Have a good night. Be dynamic. Have a dynamic day and a dynamic night.